Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh. Is this working? Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Rakal Kadash, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth, and a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth, proclaiming this gospel, this truth. And so, man, Esau's on every level. That's what the primary goal is of this. And the books I'm going to be reading out of are mostly Jeremiah's prophecy, which we better know it today as Mystery Babylon, Babylon the Great, even though Jeremiah at that time thought he was prophesying against the current, but yet he was talking about a future Babylon, which we are here now. So I'm going to read out of Revelation chapter 17, verse 3 to get some precepts here. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. That's talking about the EU and the UN NATO, which is also known as the dragon. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold and precious stones and pearls, having in her hand a golden cup full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And what's that talking about? Well, just the fact that America has been the hammer of the whole earth, as Jeremiah will go into a little bit more. And because of her delicacies, all the other nations of the world have been made to suffer because of Mystery Babylon the Great's pretty much her policies. And on her forehead, a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. And again, goes into further detail about how this nation, America, has pretty much drinking of the blood of the saints. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushai. And when I saw her, I marveled with great admiration. And so, again, it's talking about how, this kingdom came to be because, nobody's ever seen this place, that lived during that time. Now, getting into the main area here, Jeremiah 49, because we know it's Esau, the so-called white man, who has had these policies, and he's just pretty much being exposed for what he's doing in Syria. Every day you hear more and more about the usage of chemical weapons and who's actually using them. And it ain't Assad. It is the United States, because they use the same bombs, neutron bombs, against the people of Yemen and Iraq. Fallujah was taken out by neutron bombs. Well, what are neutron bombs, you ask? Well, that's quite simply put, smaller tactical nukes. So these have been used on before. So I'm just going to read. And the thing is, though, is that now it's out there that America is using white for phosphorus bombs. And so here it is. And we'll get right into this. There's another thing here. Now, Ammon used to be right next to the actual place of Gad. But if you put it into future tense, because the same thing happened all over again, it'll say this: against the Ammonites, thus saith Yahweh, has Israel no sons? Has he no hair? Why does Milcom inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? Well, who inherited Gad? Who was overcome by the troop? Well, that troop is Esau's so-called white man, so I believe that it's definitely applicable to today, and so we are going to get into this, verse 3. Wait, O Heshbon, for Al is plundered. Cry, you daughters of Rabbah, gird yourselves with sackcloth, and that's why we wear sackcloth upon our clothing as we go out there and teach to the lost sheep of Israel. Lament and run to and fro by the walls, for Milcom shall go into captivity, for his priests with his princes together. Why do you boast in the valleys, your flowing valley, O black sliding daughter? And well, what's this backsliding daughter talking about? Mystery Babylon the Great, because, Mother Babylon, if you will, that's dealing with the UK, England. But they call America the backsliding daughter. Verse 5, behold, I will bring fear upon you, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. For all those who are around you, you shall be driven out, everyone headlong. And what's going on now? South Africa, these Edomites are being driven out. They don't want them there anymore. Iraq has taken a proverb against Esau, wants Esau out of there. They're sick of these goddamn Edomites in their country. Same thing with Libya. And we know that this shield promised to them is Russia, be thou guard unto them. And what is Turkey, Gomer, purchasing right now? S-400 systems. What is that? That's a shielding weapon to fight against the F-15, F-35 jets, which are currently terrorizing Syria and the region. So they're getting their shielding weapons from Russia, because what's happening, though, is they're taking a proverb against Esau. And no one will gather those who wander off, but afterward I will bring back the captives of the people of Ammon, saith the Lord Yahweh. And here's the main parts of it, because pretty much everybody knows that America is defending Al-Qaeda, even though they said they were fighting Al-Qaeda because of this bullshit September 11. I'm not saying the event didn't happen. What I'm saying, though, is that the reasons behind it because of some shit about a terrorist threat, all lies by Esau, the so-called white man, because it was the government themselves that had done this. They even show you that in the South Park cartoon. That, yeah, we bombed the Pentagon with a Tomahawk cruise missile. The same failures in Syria, right? And they bombed the Pentagon with a Tomahawk cruise missile, because, you take a look back at the footage, it's like, wait a minute, how could the Pentagon how could a plane actually fly into it? Where are the wings? Why is that small little area there? Because it was a Tomahawk missile that took that out. And then, of course, the holes that are in the Pennsylvania area, those holes were already there before, but it was made to look like a plane headed for the White House had pretty much crashed into the fields, because they showed the footage. Crisis actors, the same false flags going on now. But 9/11 was one of the big ones to start this war, which is the war of terror. And America has been that terror against all the nations, blaming all their political enemies. They even blamed us, Hebrew Israelites, because they like to label us the black Hebrew Israelites. And we just recently answered No Class Malone, and says, am I a black Hebrew Israelite? Well, quite simply put, when you start dealing with the Northern Kingdom and the confusion of faces that be among us, like myself and others, you can't throw that label, black Hebrew Israelites. So what's happening, though, is Esau's getting exposed. Everybody knows that he's about to do a false flag event with the white helmets. And that's been out there for almost 2 or 3 weeks now. So that's why Esau hasn't been able to set things off, because he's been exposed on every level. Verse 7, against Edom. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman, which Teman's one of the offspring of the Edomites? Has counsel perished from the prudent? These elites. Has their wisdom vanished? Flee, turn you back. Dwell in depths, O inhabitants of Dedan, which is another tribe of Esau, Edom. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will punish him. And again, Esau's being punished. That's why you're seeing fires on this side. They just reopened I-5, but no hazardous trucks, things that could potentially cause fire. I-5 has been closed for almost a whole week. Most of this Reading area has been getting a lot of the wildfires, but pretty much, though, then you've got another hurricane that's about to destroy many cities in South Carolina. Now, of course, we have a confusion of faiths that be in the South Carolina camp, but we have a camp there, so we pray for our people to survive this. I think they call it Hurricane Charlotte. I think that's what it's called. I'll have to look again. But either way, hurricane's coming that way, and it says it's going to make landfall by Thursday. So, I'm pretty sure our people would be safe, as they were during Houston as well. If grape gatherers came unto you, would you not leave some gleaning grapes? If these by night, would they not destroy until they have enough? And again, man, Esau, when he takes spoils, he takes everything. Look at Iraq. It's drained all the resources of Iraq. They've drained all the resources from Libya. Libya was prosperous, and they actually had good, clean drinking water. But since Esau got there, all these terror groups are running Libya, the same as they're doing in Syria. For I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. Key verse right here. He should not be able to hide himself. So he can't hide the fact anymore that he is part of the terrorists. That Esau, Edom, Babylon the Great, America supports the terrorists in Syria. That this whole war of terror was all orchestrated by the elites. Those Amalekites that call themselves Jews. His descendants are plundered, his brethren and his neighbors, and he is no more. Again, pretty much the Most High is going to destroy Esau, Edom. And we're just seconds away from that. Verse 12, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, we weren't supposed to drink of this cup, have assuredly drunk. And are you the one who will go altogether unpunished? You shall not go unpunished, but you shall surely drink of it. And what's that talking about? Slavery. You Edomites are going into slavery. Every last one of you motherfuckers, you're going to go into slavery. And there's nothing you can do about it. The Most High is not with you. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, that Basra, which is another key word for America, shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all its cities shall be perpetual waste. Again, pretty much what's happening is the Most High himself is drawing Esau into this war that he cannot win. I've heard a message from the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, and an ambassador has been sent to the nations. Gather together, come against her, and rise up to battle. That's why all these nations are now ready to fight off Esau. That's why they're getting their defense weapons. S-200s to S-400s to S-500s. They're getting ready because they know that Esau is going to come down, having great wrath, because he knows his time is short. And so they're girding themselves up. They're getting ready for war, which is in the valley of Yehoshaphat, which the valley of Yehoshaphat is the valley of Yahweh's judgment, which is right there in Saudi Arabia and that whole peninsula area. For indeed, I will make you small among the nations. Esau small among the nations. Edomites are actually a minority, but they like to say that we of color are the minorities. Nah, Esau's the minority. Despised among men. And that's why they're driving these terrorists out of fucking South Africa. And I call the Edomites the terrorists because those are who the real terrorists are, you pieces of shit. Your fierceness has deceived you. The pride of your heart, O you that dwell in the clefts of the rock, who hold the height of the hill. And that's why the buildings came down, because you like to dwell in the heights. And you brought down the buildings yourself to blame your political enemies. But it's you, Esau, that did this shit. Controlled demolition. There's proof that there was Amalekites in that building. You so-called Jews. And you're the ones that did it. The Israeli state in Levant, ISIL. Edom shall be in astonishment. Everyone who goeth by it will be astonished, and will hiss at all its plagues, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah. And their neighbors, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. No one shall remain there, nor shall a son of man dwell in it, because he's going to gather his people from this place. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the floodplain of the Jordan against the dwelling place of the strong, which, Esau thinks that he's the strong one, but he's going to be nothing more than perpetual waste. Verse 20, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that he has taken against Edom. And his purpose is that he has proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. It means all you Edomites, you so-called white people. Surely the least of their flock, which is talking about Amalek, shall draw them out. And that's why you're being constantly brought into this war. Surely he shall make their dwelling places desolate with them. The earth shakes at the noise of their fall, as the cry, its noise is heard at the Red Sea. And that's talking about, Everybody knows when Egypt was taken out. This place spiritually, Sodom and Egypt, talking about America. Behold, he shall come up, fly like an eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. It's talking about the eagle. It's another key word for Esau, so-called white man. The heart of the mighty men of Edom in that day shall be like the heart of a woman in birth pangs. And again, America can't even rebuild them cities. They're talking Reading strong. They're going to rebuild these places, but where are you going to get the money from when you haven't even seen an economic growth since 2004, which I keep reiterating that. Concerning Damascus, Hamath and Arpad are shamed. And again, this is talking about the Middle East. For they have heard bad news. They are faint-hearted. There is trouble on the sea. It cannot be quiet. Damascus has grown feeble. She had turned herself to flee, and fear has seized upon her. Anguish and sorrows have taken her like a woman in travail. Again, this is talking about how Esau is constantly coming against the Damascus government, and about how he's pretty much going to destroy Damascus. And it's going to be most likely a nuclear strike. Or you could even say those white phosphorus bombs that they're using right now in other cities in Syria, because that's exposed. That's everywhere. How is the city of praise not left, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men shall fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. I will kindle fire in the wall of Damascus, and shall consume the palaces of Ben-Hadad, which Ben-Hadad means the leader of Syria. So it pretty much is going to consume all of Syria. Syria is going to fall. It's one of the last events to happen. And we can see that that's coming quickly. As, Esau is preparing this war. And pretty much, though, eventually, like the chicken shit he is, like the fucking drones they use, just somebody behind a fucking computer pushing buttons, because they won't even fight on the front lines. They'll just sit behind a computer pushing buttons, a little joystick in their hands. They're going to use a nuclear weapon against Damascus, taking it out. Pretty much confounding Damascus. And we know that this is coming. This is one of the main prophecies to happen. But pretty much that triggers the World War III nuclear events, which Babylon the Great, America gets destroyed in 1 hour. And so we're going to keep on seeing Esau getting exposed, because this is a time to prophesy against Esau, Edom. That's why we're out there in our camps. And we're telling you who this devil is. That it is a so-called white man. And pretty much this thing's a wrap. Eventually this thing's going to be a wrap. Once the martial law comes into place, once the mark is mandatory, you ain't going to see us out there in the camps anymore. So enjoy this time while you still can. And if you want to see the longer length videos of these, tune into Confusion of Face Reading 2, where I will upload even more videos from other brothers, as well as news events interlinking what I just shared. So I hope this has been edifying. Barakah the Yahweh, Barakah the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakal Kadash, Barakatah.